When you carry yourself with confidence and truly believe in who you are, something remarkable begins to happen. You start attracting opportunities, people, and experiences that reflect that energy back to you. Confidence is magnetic. It's not about being arrogant or pretending you have it all figured out. It's about trusting yourself, showing up authentically, and radiating an energy that tells the world you know your worth. Think about it. When someone walks into a room and they're confident, you feel it before they even speak. Their posture, their presence, their calmness, it all communicates a quiet strength. People are naturally drawn to that because confidence creates trust, and trust opens doors. When you believe in yourself, you project certainty, and certainty is attractive. It makes others want to work with you, support you, or simply be around you. Opportunities flow toward confidence because people believe in those who believe in themselves. The truth is, the way you see yourself becomes a mirror for how others see you. If you see yourself as unworthy or not good enough, people often sense that, even if you never say it out loud. But when you see yourself as capable, valuable, and deserving, people begin to respond in kind. You start attracting respect, admiration, and opportunities that match your self-perception. This is why confidence changes the way life unfolds, not because the world itself magically shifts, but because you shift the way you interact with it. When you believe you can achieve something, you take more chances. You apply for the job, you start the business, you approach the person you want to talk to, and when you take those steps with belief, the world responds. You create momentum. That momentum brings results, and those results reinforce your belief. It's a cycle of growth that all begins with confidence. Confidence also attracts better relationships. When you know your value, you stop settling for people who don't treat you the way you deserve. Instead, you attract friends, partners, and colleagues who recognize and appreciate your worth. That doesn't mean every interaction will be perfect, but it does mean you'll naturally draw closer to people who respect you and distance yourself from people who drain you. And that shift changes everything. Relationships built on mutual respect and admiration uplift you, energize you, and push you forward. Believing in yourself also makes you more open, because you're not constantly guarded by fear or insecurity. You're more willing to let people in, more willing to share your ideas, and more willing to take risks in connection. That vulnerability combined with confidence creates genuine bonds that are far deeper than surface-level interactions. Another thing you attract when you're confident is freedom to live authentically. When you stop doubting yourself, you stop living for the approval of others. You no longer need to please everyone or conform to what people expect of you, because you're grounded in who you are, and that freedom is powerful. It allows you to say yes to things that align with your purpose, and no to things that don't. And the moment you begin living authentically, you start attracting experiences that match your true self instead of the false self you thought you had to present. Life feels lighter, more aligned, more exciting, because you're no longer chasing validation. You're creating it within yourself. Belief in yourself also attracts resilience. When challenges command, they always do. Confidence keeps you moving. Instead of crumbling under pressure, you remind yourself, I can handle this. That inner voice of belief keeps you steady when things get tough. And that steadiness attracts opportunities even in the middle of struggle. People notice how you carry yourself under stress, and they admire it. Doors often open not when everything is easy, but when you show strength during hard times. Confidence tells the world that you won't break, and the world rewards that persistence. Even beyond opportunities and relationships, confidence changes the way you experience life itself. When you believe in yourself, you attract joy. Because you're not constantly battling self-doubt, you walk into rooms with less fear and more curiosity. You try new things because you're not paralyzed by what if I fail. Instead, you live with a sense of possibility. That openness draws experiences toward you, whether it's meeting someone by chance who changes your life, or stumbling into an idea that sparks your next big step. Confidence puts you in alignment with growth, and when you're in alignment, the right things begin finding their way to you. And here's the most important part. Confidence isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about believing you're worthy, even when you're still learning, even when you're flawed, even when you stumble. That kind of belief attracts peace. You stop criticizing yourself so harshly, and that inner peace radiates outward. People feel it, and they're drawn to it, because deep down, everyone craves that kind of self-acceptance. When you embody it, you become a beacon that reminds others they can believe in themselves too. And that's one of the most powerful things you can attract, not just opportunities for yourself, but the chance to inspire others. So what happens when you're confident and you truly believe? You attract doors you didn't even know existed. You attract people who see your value. You attract resilience during struggle, joy in the ordinary, and freedom to live authentically. Most importantly, you attract the life you were always meant to live, not because the world changed, but because you did. Confidence is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming, and belief is the fuel that carries you across it. So if there's one thing worth building, it's not just skills, not just achievements, but the unshakable confidence that you are worthy, you are capable, and you are ready. Because when you truly believe that, the world has no choice but to believe it too. The truth is, the way you see yourself becomes a mirror for how others see you. If you see yourself as unworthy or not good enough, people will often sense that, even if you never say it out loud. They may not know exactly what it is, but energy has a way of speaking louder than words. But when you see yourself as capable, valuable, and deserving, people begin to respond in kind. You start attracting respect, admiration, and opportunities that match your self-perception. This is why confidence changes the way life unfolds, not because the world itself magically shifts, but because you shift the way you interact with it. When you believe you can achieve something, you take more chances. You apply for the job. You start the business. You reach out to the person you admire. You step into spaces you once thought you didn't belong in. And when you take those steps with belief, the world notices. You create momentum. That momentum brings results, and those results reinforce your belief. It's a cycle of growth that all begins with confidence. Confidence also reshapes the relationships you attract. When you know your value, you naturally stop settling for people who treat you poorly or drain your energy. Instead, you attract friendships, partnerships, and connections with people who recognize and honor your worth. This doesn't mean every relationship will be perfect, but it does mean you'll no longer chase validation from those who don't see you. You'll stop begging for scraps of attention and start aligning with people who uplift you, respect you, and push you toward your best self. And the shift is powerful because when you surround yourself with supportive, inspiring people, it becomes easier to maintain your own belief and keep moving forward. Believing in yourself also makes you more open and approachable. Insecurity builds walls, but confidence builds bridges. You'll find yourself more willing to share your ideas, open up about your goals, and take risks in connection. That kind of openness, balanced with self-assurance, creates genuine bonds that go far deeper than surface-level interactions. Another thing you begin to attract when you're confident is freedom. When you trust yourself, you stop living for the approval of others. You don't feel the need to constantly explain yourself, apologize for who you are, or water yourself down to make others comfortable. Instead, you begin living authentically. That authenticity creates freedom, because you're no longer weighed down by the pressure to perform for someone else's standards. And the moment you live authentically, you start attracting experiences that match your true self instead of the false self you once thought you had to be. Life feels lighter, more exciting, and more meaningful because you're no longer chasing validation, you're creating it within yourself. Belief in yourself also attracts resilience. Life will never be without challenges, struggles, setbacks, and failures will come. But confidence doesn't erase challenges, it changes how you face them. When you believe in yourself, you stop seeing difficulties as signs to give up. Instead, you see them as opportunities to grow stronger. That inner voice of belief reminds you, I've gotten through hard times before, and I can do it again. And when you carry that steady energy, even in difficult moments, people notice. In fact, some of the biggest opportunities often arrive not during times of ease, but during times of struggle. Employers, leaders, and even friends gravitate toward those who remain composed and solution-focused under pressure. Confidence attracts opportunities not only when everything is going well, but also when everything is falling apart, because people trust those who don't crumble under stress.